One of the most exciting things to experience as an NHL fan is a new player on your favorite team. And this summer had a lot of movement, so there are a lot of players on new teams. In this video, we will start in the Western Conference and look at every team in the West and one new player to look forward to on every one of those teams. This list will not count rookies, we will only be looking at players that were traded or signed through free agency. So, with that said, let's start with the Central Division and the Colorado Avalanche. Unfortunately for the Avalanche, they lost Valerie Nichushkin, but to try and replace him on that left side, they have Jaden Schwartz. Schwartz is 34 years old, and I highly doubt that he will be able to replace Nichushkin, but Schwartz is not too bad himself. Last season on the Kraken, Schwartz had 11 goals and 15 assists for 26 points in 50 games. He's a solid third line winger and will probably put up 40 to 50 points if he can stay healthy. He has good depth and will hopefully help the Avs get to the Stanley Cup Finals next season. Next, we have the Dallas Stars and Joel Kiviranta. Not every team made a big acquisition, but we will do our absolute best. Last season, Kiviranta played with the Avalanche and had 3 goals and 6 assists for 9 points in 51 games. What makes this slightly interesting is that Kiviranta is actually returning to the Stars. He started his career in Dallas and played there for 4 seasons before going to the Avalanche in 2023, and now he's returning home. So Dallas fans, go into your closets and dust off your Joel Kiviranta jerseys. For the Minnesota Wild, I'm going with Blake Coleman. Coleman, to me, has potential to have a pretty good season in Minnesota. Last year on the Flames, Coleman had 35 points in 69 games, which isn't too shabby, and Coleman can perform really well when put in the right situation. The Flames haven't been great since he joined, but Coleman had a 54-point season only 2 years ago. He was very effective on Tampa Bay as well. And on the Wild, he'll be playing with guys like Boldy and Kaprizov. I will not guarantee anything, but Coleman is a decent pickup and can hop into the center position if you really need him to. And the Wild needs some guys willing to hop into the center position. Now we finally have some excitement with the Utah Mammoth and Vincent Trocheck. In the playoffs last season, the Mammoth lost to the Vegas Golden Knights in the first round, and picking up Trocheck almost feels like a direct response to their playoff elimination. Trocheck adds some really good depth and grittiness to the team, while also adding some veteran leadership. Last season, Trocheck had 16 goals and 37 assists for 53 points in 67 games on the New York Rangers. The Rangers have been really struggling, and Trocheck struggled with them. He looked pretty good during the Olympics. I feel like he'll bounce back pretty well on Utah. The Central is already so dangerous with the Stars, Avs, and Wild at the top, but the Mammoth are making moves so they stay in that conversation. And moves like this and the young studs they've drafted like Aginla make me very hopeful and excited for the future of this team. Next, we have the St. Louis Blues, and I'm going with Connor McMichael. The Blues looked pretty good at the end of last season, and over the summer, I feel like they got even better. In the Jordan Kyrou trade, the Capitals almost included McMichael as a throw-in along with the first-round pick, but McMichael had good stats last season and still has upside. At 25 years old, McMichael had 14 goals and 32 assists for 46 points in 78 games with the Capitals, and Kyrou had 46 points in 72 games. So it was not that much of a downgrade, plus the Blues got the 16th pick in the draft too. If McMichael plays with Thomas, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be able to get 25 goals and crack 50 points this season. For the Nashville Predators, I'm going with Maverick Bourque. I really like this pickup for the Predators. Last season with the Stars, Bourque had 20 goals and 21 assists for 41 points in 82 games. I love that he played a full 82 games, and he's still only 24 years old. He's really solid two ways and will probably get second line time on this team. I like adding Drury to their depth as well. It really helps their center core. I feel like adding Bourque makes this team younger and better. If he does play on the second line, he'll be able to play with guys like Stamkos or Forsberg, which is really exciting and will definitely help his development. He only played around 15 minutes or so a game last year. Being on the Predators will definitely be a more prominent role for him and give him more minutes. I don't know what the goal for the Predators is next season. I don't think this will get them into the playoffs or anything, and the rest of the team is still getting older, unfortunately. But a good add either way. If you're enjoying this video so far, please Scott Stevens smash the subscribe button so this channel can get off the floor and on the board. Thank you all so much for your support so far. For the Winnipeg Jets, I'm picking Stuart Skinner. I know. Last season, Stuart Skinner had 50 games played, 23 wins, 17 losses, and 9 ties, with a 292 goals against average and an 888 save percentage. He was only coming in as a backup or a starter if Hellebuck is traded, but this is a good vibes hire. The Jets had a brutal season last year, especially considering that they won the President's Trophy the year prior. They added Mario Ferraro as well, who is just as much of a good vibes hire, but getting Skinner on your team is really fun, especially if you don't have to depend on him as your starter. The Jets didn't do much over the summer either way. I think they're still shell-shocked by their fall-off and are going to assess things during next season. For our final Central Division team, we have the Chicago Blackhawks. I'm torn here, but a completely new player is more exciting to me than a returning one, so I'm going with Bowen Byram. Byram currently has the highest paid extension for a defenseman at $12.5 million a year, yet he has been a career second line defenseman. He showed flashes of being great, especially in the playoffs last season, but there's no guarantee that he is going to live up to that salary cap. But that almost makes it more exciting, right? Last season, Byram had 11 goals and 31 assists for 42 points. He is currently 25 years old and has gotten better every single year since he entered the league. He has a chance to be an absolute stud, but also the chance to not even get close to that cap hit. I think having a good player will be great for the Hawks because they need to start getting better, and anything is better than the last few years. We are now moving on to the Pacific and the Vegas Golden Knights, who had Victor Olofsson this offseason. Losing to our 5 is really tough for the Knights, and Olofsson is an attempt to maybe gain a tiny bit of that scoring back. Olofsson is 31 years old, and last season he played 78 games where he had 13 goals and 18 assists for 31 points. Early in Olofsson's career, it seemed like he could be a 30-goal guy, but he hasn't actually ever been able to reach that 30-goal mark. He was on Vegas for the 2024-2025 season, where he had 15 goals in 56 games, which isn't too bad at all. I could see him having similar production now that he's back on the Knights, but there's no world where he produces what Dora 5 was. For the Edmonton Oilers, we have Frederik Andersen. The Oilers picked up Andersen on a 1-year, $1 million contract and are hoping that a 36-year-old $1 million goalie solves their goalie problems next season. But hey, being an Oilers fan and entering every season hoping a goalie becomes a bona fide starter seems pretty fun. The Oilers made most of their moves around the trade deadline during the regular season, and I think a full season of Doc, Murphy, and Dickinson will be really good for them, but their biggest offseason add was Andersen and the potential performance he could have. Last year during the regular season, he played 35 games, had 16 wins, 14 losses, and 5 ties. Along with that, he had a 305 goals against average and an 874 save percentage. So not great by any means, but he played 3 really good rounds in the playoffs and will hopefully be able to rest and heal up before the start of next season. Unfortunately for the Anaheim Ducks, they lost a couple players and have a lot less cap space during this offseason. They did add AJ Greer. Greer is a Stanley Cup champion with the 2025 Florida Panthers, and last season had 17 goals and 15 assists for 32 points. The Ducks signed him to a 4-year, $17 million contract for $4.25 million a year, which the Ducks are probably regretting right now with their cap situation. But he's a bottom 6 gritty forward that can score a few goals as well, so a solid add. For the LA Kings, I'm going with Matt Zuccarello. The Kings picked up Zuccarello during this offseason, and even though he's about to turn 39 years old, he still produces really well. In 59 games for the Wild last season, he had 15 goals and 39 assists for 54 points, and also a good vibes guy. It's going to be really weird to see Zuccarello in a Kings jersey, but I think Kings fans will be happy with having him on the team. It's really tough for the Wild to lose Zuccarello, but the Kings get to gain a near point per game guy while also making another team in their conference worse. The San Jose Sharks added a ton of guys to their team this offseason, but I think Jacob Trouba will be the most exciting one. Trouba statistically and advanced stat-wise is not very great, but he's a leader and throws big hits. A young team like the Sharks need gritty players like Trouba to set the tone and prevent the kids from being hurt. Trouba hits so hard that he's a danger to himself just as much as he is to others, and I think with a guy like Trouba on the team, it really reduces the chances of anyone messing with the young guys. Last season on the Ducks, he played 81 games where he had 10 goals, 25 assists for 35 points. So like I said, he won't produce much, but good to have him on the team. For the Seattle Kraken, we have Mackie Samoskevich. The Kraken acquired Samoskevich from the Florida Panthers for the Lightning's 25th overall pick. Last season on the Panthers, Samoskevich had 12 goals and 20 assists for 32 points in 77 games. I am rooting for the Seattle Kraken, and getting guys like Samoskevich is how you establish an identity. A really fast 23-year-old forward, and I think he will definitely be a fan favorite very soon. On the Panthers, he didn't have a very prominent role, and I'm sure he'll be higher in the lineup on the Kraken. Hopefully, he can form some chemistry with the other young Kraken players and help them improve for next season. For the Calgary Flames, I'm going with Simon Nemec. Nemec is 22 years old and will have an opportunity to find his game on the Flames. There is no pressure for the Flames to perform well, so he'll be able to get a lot of minutes next season. Last season, he had 11 goals and 15 assists for 26 points in 68 games. He hasn't completely broken out yet, but he has had bursts of greatness, including a game against the Blackhawks where he scored a hattie last season. He has still a ton of room to grow, but because of the state of the Flames, he has a good chance of becoming a top-line defenseman for them. And our final team on this list is the Vancouver Canucks. The Canucks didn't add anything major this offseason, so I guess I'm going with Jamie Oleksiak. I mean, he's 6'7", so that's pretty cool. Last season, he had 5 goals and 10 assists in 78 games for the Kraken. Who doesn't love a tall-ass dude on their team? And that was one new player on every team to look forward to in the Western Conference. Thank you all so much for watching. Look out for the Eastern Conference half of this video in a few days. Comment your thoughts below, like if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more.